agents, what's up, internet? I am Bianca and welcome to the 4th installment of our New Game Plus, Mega Plus, Ultimate Guide for Digimon Story, Time Stranger. From the 39 boss Digimons to the 22 left, we are officially moving on to the second major phase, what I call the Time Stranger arc. In this arc, we're tackling the boss gauntlet from chapters 21 all the way to chapter 33. That's 7 major boss battles plus 1 extremely infuriating solo mission for Aegiomon that nearly ended my Steam Deck. So buckle up, get your best Digimon team ready, and prepare for the journey through the timeline. And let's get started by breaking down the 21st chapter, The Defense of Nishi-Shinjuku. Now, before diving into the boss battles, this chapter provides the aforementioned Aegiomon section that can drive anyone attempting the New Game Plus Mega Plus challenge up into a wall. Now, this is something I actually already made a quick strategy of in the first installment of the series of guides, but I'll reiterate it again. This is one of the hardest segments with a solo Aegiomon. Without the necessary preparations, this will be torture to get through, as the game can, and sometimes will, troll you by immediately focusing the enemy Digimon's attacks solely on Aegiomon alone, thereby forcing a game over on you. Though this segment doesn't necessarily have a boss battle per se, this particular battle we are running into might as well act as one with how handicapped we are. To make it easier for us, what we can do is have Aegiomon equipped with his Holy Data Fragment along with either a multi-wall or, if you don't have any for some reason, a crystal wall. This will immediately have him start a fight in his holy form, which is essentially what we have been doing thus far. His holy form not only gives him increased stats that allows him to survive this segment against the Drogomon and the 2 Kurisarimon, but allows him to use circlet defense right off the bat. And while Drogomon has a magic-based attack he would frequently use in the form of Hellcrusher 2 and Hydro Water 2, he also uses Forbidden Trident, which deals massive damage if Aegiomon gets hit. And that is what we want to prevent. Coupled with Kurisarimon's Data Crusher attack that can cause crystallization, the best course of action is simply the defensive one, even if it is the most time-consuming of all. As for Black Gatomon, she can heal with X-Heal, but it's too infrequent and not at all reliable. Her attacks aren't as strong as our team, but her Lightning Paw has a chance to confuse Drogomon with it, which helps somewhat. Overall, the only advice I can give is to equip those 2 items, use Circlet Defense, and hope for the best. The next boss appears further in this chapter, and it's one of the most difficult ones you can encounter, especially during a first playthrough, and it occurs when you head to the Tokyo Government Metropolitan Building. Titamon plus SkullBaluchimon is a dual-phase boss battle. In the first phase, the fight is against Titamon astride SkullBaluchimon. Regardless of what phase the battle is in, his weakness profile remains the same: susceptibility with fire and light attacks and vaccine types. For this reason, my starting lineup included Imperial Dramon Paladin mode, Mastamon, and Grace Novamon with Venusmon, Susanamon, and Rosemon Burst mode on reserve. In the first phase, Titamon plus SkullBaluchimon will have a double health bar, denoted by the slanted line patterns on their health bar. Their arsenal will mostly consist of Mental Break, which lowers our Digimon spirit, Attack Charge, which increases their attack, Guard Break, which lowers our Digimon's defense, Idle Bubble, Comet Hammer 3, and Shadow Fang 3. They can also use Senjin Kishin-san, which is a dark physical attack that can apply injury and has increased damage on those with Holy Trait. Once the initial health bar gets depleted, SkullBaluchimon will fall and the second phase will start. During the second phase, the Berserk phase, unlike the first playthrough where you need to manually use the mini electronic net generator from your items, in New Game Plus, the game automatically does it for you. Still, the first time he uses his time-stopping ability, we can still get decimated if we are not careful. Apart from his charge attack, his other skills in this phase include Soul Fear 3, Shadow Fang 3, and Attack Charge on top of his normal attacks. Now, in my 2 Mega Plus runs, I never managed to keep everyone alive. No matter what, someone will end up getting knocked out. My team even got infected with injury and I was forced to bring in Venusmon in the team during the early to mid parts of the second phase. Now, when he does the charge attack after being stopped by the EM net generator, we will be given the option to attack his twin blades to stop his special skill from charging. If you plan on stopping it, switching out whomever has the first turn from that point to Susanamon and using his Yakuza no Ikazuchi will quickly deplete the white gauge. Just remember to switch in whoever you switched out on Venusmon's slot since you won't be needing her during Titamon's charging phase. Of course, if Titamon's HP is low enough, you can choose to ignore his twin swords completely and just go all out on his main body. Remember, if you can't stop him from unleashing his charge attacks, you can always use High Field before his turn to cancel out the damage it will bring. Our next boss encounter occurs on Chapter 27, Red Seas and Regret, where we go back to the Abyss Depths to meet with Neptunemon on Venusmon's insistence and end up coming across the nuisance that is SkullSeadramon. This fight is similar if more aggressive than the Ultimate Brachymon fight from the previous video. Unlike Ultimate Brachymon, who changes his physical and magical resistance at a whim, SkullSeadramon is more dependent on the part that is currently available to target. Initially, that resistance would be to physical attacks. As such, having an initial team of magic DPS is what I went for, and that includes Lucemon Zeta Mode, Mastamon, and Chronomon Destroy Mode. I gave Lucemon and Mastamon Woken Palm 3s as well. Now my choice is strategic in that Lucemon Zeta Mode has Divine Atonement, Mastamon has Holy Desire, and Chronomon Destroy Mode has Holy Flare, which all have the elements that SkullSeadramon is significantly weak to despite not really having much weakness: Fire and Light. Once he moves so that his tail is the one that is visible and exposed, SkullSeadramon will then become weak to physical attacks. When that happened, I switched out Lucemon for Susanamon and had him spam his Ama no Habakiri. When his core appears, which happens when he is charging up his attack, Fire and Light elements remain effective against it. At this point, I went with Lucemon, Susanamon, and Mastamon to finish the fight before SkullSeadramon can even use his charge attack. As for his skills, he has a lot. SkullSeadramon can use Ocean Wave 3 that can hit the entire party, Guard Bind, which lowers a single Digimon's defense, Frozen Bullet 3, Attack Charge, Shadow Fang 3, Hydro Water 3, Icicle Edge 3, Guard Break, Nightmare 3, Spirit Bind, Aqua Pressure, Mental Break, Thunderfall 1, 2, and 3, Magic Charge, and his Charge Attack. His attacks also has a chance to cause immobilization, so having multi-wall again is a requirement to make this fight go easier. Overall, it shouldn't be that hard of a fight as long as you keep on top of which part is exposed and have a good set of physical and magical DPS. If you ever need healing though, as I did, switch in Venusmon to get the most out of your healing. Also, don't forget to pick up the chest nearby containing a multi-wall after the battle. It's one of the 3 places you can get one. After that heart-wrenching scene that closes the chapter, the next chapter introduces 2 boss battles. The first one occurs after boarding Master Blimpmon and come face to face against Lanamon. Lanamon is a variable type Digimon and was first introduced as a villain in Digimon Frontier, which immediately made me clock in on her nefariousness even before the game revealed it. She's weak to fire and weaker still to electricity/lightning damage. As such, my battle party was composed of Susanamon, Lucemon Satan Mode, and GrapLeomon, with Massimon on reserve with Venusmon and Rosemon Burst Mode. In this battle, we are accompanied by another Venusmon as well. Let's talk about Lanamon's attacks. The most notable one is Rain Stream, which is an AoE water attack that can cause poison status on any Digimon that's not wearing a poison wall or a multi-wall. She can also use Ocean Wave 3, Hydro Water 3, and Venom Trap. If any Digimon does end up getting poisoned, however, the AI-controlled Venusmon would use Mediator to heal them of the status ailment, which is nice. As for my strategy, I started off with a high field cross art before showering Lanamon with Yakuza no Ikazuchi, Purgatorial Flame, and Eclipse Finger. Aegiomon Holy, on the other hand, used Magic Reflect throughout to ensure his survival, while I let the computer-controlled Venusmon do the support stuff like healing and debuffing Lanamon. This isn't a hard fight, especially if you let your fire-based heavy hitters like Lucemon Satan Mode and GrapLeomon as well as Susanamon take charge. After the battle, we will board Waymon again to head straight to the Abyss Depths and try to stop Neptunemon from drinking the poison. Once we get to the throne room, we will encounter our second boss of the chapter, Lanamon's beast form, or rather the Digispirit of Water's beast form, Calamaramon. Being under the Digispirit line of Digimon, Calamaramon also falls under the variable attribute. Like Lanamon, she is incredibly weak to fire and lightning-based attacks. As such, keeping the team from our encounter with Lanamon makes sense. For this battle, we are also joined by Neptunemon alongside Venusmon. When Calamaramon begins charging her attack, the mantle appears. This one has plant, earth, and light weaknesses. Even then, Susanamon and Lucemon Satan Mode both have light-based attacks that double as AoE attacks that can break her charge. Of course, the option again to just go straight to attacking her directly is still on the table and is still the better one, especially if she's already low on health and if she ends up using Wander in the Darkness, which lowers every single one of our Digimon's accuracy. In terms of skills, Calamaramon has the following: Ocean Wave 3, Hell Crusher 3, which increases her attack, intelligence, and critical rate, and the aforementioned Wander in Darkness, which she always, at least during my 2 Mega Plus runs, used before charging her attack. As I had my CP gauge only set to 90% full, I wasn't able to start the battle with high field. Instead, I went on with the usual Purgatorial Flame, Yakuza no Ikazuchi, and Eclipse Finger succession of attacks with my 3 core Digimon. By the time I got to GrapLeomon, who was the third to act on the first turn, I managed to fill up my CP gauge and deploy high field. It also happens that during that turn with GrapLeomon, I managed to land an extra hit that triggered his Blight Break extra skill, which in turn put Calamaramon to sleep for several rounds. At this point, I just let her have it, with Aegiomon even going from his holy form to his base Aegiomon form just to have an added oomph to his attacks and decrease Calamaramon's electricity resistance with his Lightning Pile skill. Jumping to Chapter 31, the Titan's Grudge. Heading to Bacchusmon to stop his demise, we will find the Guardian of the World Tree, much like the rest of the Digimon in town, feeling sleepy. Interacting with Bacchusmon will lead us into the dream world, where we are presented with a pair of conundrums: how to get Bacchusmon, who is floating in the middle of this area, and how to escape this place. Both are of course intricately tied and can be completed by following these instructions. From the starting point, while being careful of the Phantomons floating about, head to the right and through the yellow portal. This will bring us to the upper transporter. Turn around then and get teleported again, this time to the lower right teleporter. Once again, double back to be brought back to the first teleporter but on the right side of it. This would allow us to cross the invisible bridge to get to Bacchusmon. After speaking with Bacchusmon, he will be accompanying us, and our mission now is to find a way to leave this dream world. Following the teleporters, a cutscene will trigger that will lead us to a battle with our next boss, Witchmon. Witchmon is a champion-level data-type Digimon who specializes in wind-type elemental attacks. To counter this, it is wise to have a virus-type Digimon who can dish out plant and earth-based attacks. For this battle, I chose to go with Mastamon, Lucemon Satan mode, and Chronomon Destroy mode. Though I did add earth and plant-based attacks on them, I didn't really bother using these attacks much as all three of our main battle party Digimon have attacks that mitigate the resistances their opponents have. Apart from our main battle party plus Aegiomon, we also have Bacchusmon and Lotusmon with us, and like all guest Digimon in our party, although they do provide minimal damage to our enemies, they are pretty good at tanking the attacks considering they are invincible. Before we get ahead of ourselves though, let's talk about Witchmon's skills first. One of the skills that Witchmon just loves to spam is Idle Bubble. It is a skill that hits a single target and though it doesn't do any damage, has a 60% chance to apply sleep. Thankfully, with a party equipped with multi-walls, this basically does nothing to us. She also uses Sonic Shot 3, Spell Boost, which applies Magic Charge to her, which boosts her magic attacks, Ocean Wave 3, Attack Reflect, which allows Witchmon to counter-attack when a physical attack is done to her, and her charge special attack, Bellaluna Gale, which is perhaps the most dangerous one in her arsenal as it hits the entire party that also has a 30% chance to apply injury to our Digimon. Now here's the thing to note about the injury status. Multi-wall blocks this status abnormality. However, equipment like the Sky God's Thunderbolt, which supposedly should do the same thing, does not. To stop Witchmon from unleashing her Bellaluna Gale and during her charging phase, we will be able to attack her left arm. Unlike her main body, Witchmon's left arm is susceptible to fire and steel type attacks. As for how I defeated Witchmon, like always, I started the battle off with a high field and then proceeded to use Holy Desire, which grants an additional damage on Witchmon because she has the evil trait, Divine Atonement, which is boosted by Mastamon's Holy Desire, and Chrono Devolution for a chance to reduce Witchmon's attack, defense, intelligence, and spirit stats. Once Witchmon started charging her special skill, I turned all my attacks on her left arm, with Mastamon still using Holy Desire. For Lucemon Satan mode, I switched to Purgatorial Flame, while Chronomon Destroy mode used Holy Flare. Now here's something that you should take into account and something I really kind of forgot even though it was staring right at me. Be careful when using Holy Flare, especially when her attack reflect barrier is still in effect, as Holy Flare can easily knock out Chronomon Destroy mode as well. For Aegiomon, I mainly used him in his holy form as a support specialist, providing healing and restoration while also occasionally using Magic Reflect, which is pretty effective against Witchmon as all of her attacks are magic based. As long as you have multi-wall or even sleep wall equipped if you're lacking multi-walls, this battle shouldn't be that hard, nor should it take too long on a fully leveled team. Now, if you ended up using your cross art near the end of this battle, I suggest going around and fighting against the mobs to build up your cross art gauge again and have high field at the ready, because the next battle, which also occurs in this very same chapter, can be a doozy without it. Once you have your cross art gauge back to full or near full and you're ready to face off against our next boss, head on over to the sanctuary area and we will just be in the nick of time to help Sirenmon before TyrantKabuterimon could off her. TyrantKabuterimon is a Megatype Insectoid Digimon of the Virus attribute. And while Rosemon Burst Mode may seem like a good pick for this one, considering she has Adjutant Leve attack, which has increased damage against targets with the Insectoid trait, she sadly is handicapped with her weakness to Fire-type attacks, which TyrantKabuterimon with his Shine of B attack can obliterate her and anyone with fire weakness with. For his weakness, he has an aversion to the water and ice elemental types, as well as the vaccine attribute. Because of this, I went in with a full vaccine-type battle team headed by GrapLeomon, Susanamon, and Mastamon with Hydro Water 3 equipped. For backup, I kept Lucemon Satan mode with his X-Revive just in case someone needs reviving, and also because Fire-type attacks are half for him. We are also accompanied by 2 guest members in this fight, Bacchusmon and Sirenmon. Apart from his fearsome Shine of B attack, TyrantKabuterimon also has these following skills under his belt: Crescent Leaf 3, Woken Palm 3, Needle Plant 3, and Attack Charge. What I did notice on my multiple Mega Plus runs is that TyrantKabuterimon always uses his Shine of B special after the second cutscene between Bacchusmon and Sirenmon, and he will always lose a turn after it. Though in Mega Plus, he quickly recovers to deal out 2 more attacks. I use Caledon Arcus, Amano Habakiri, and Mastimon's Hydro Water 3 to quickly shave off TyrantKabuterimon's HP. In the event that you use High Field before TyrantKabuterimon uses Shine of B and you are worried Aegiomon might not survive, be sure to have him use Circlet Defense to mitigate the damage of TyrantKabuterimon's special and counter it. Keeping Aegiomon in his holy form and using him to heal will make this battle easier for you. Another thing to note about this fight is even if you manage to quickly deplete TyrantKabuterimon's health to 0, the fight will still go on and will only end when the final scene between Bacchusmon and Sirenmon plays and Bacchusmon transforms into his destroy mode and uses Reversal of the Dead. Until then, you need to hold out, though in my case, that didn't really take too long and I was never really in any danger during that time. Moving on from TyrantKabuterimon and the goings-on of the Gear Forest, and after the succeeding events with Merukimon, we will be tasked to go to the Factorial Town in Chapter 32, The Destruction of All Order. Here, we will find that the town had changed, becoming more lively. After learning what became of the Bearmon brothers and before doing anything else, I would suggest going on a short detour by heading to the right and speaking to the Vadamon there. Buy the Perpetual Pass and take the elevator down back to the main factory area and make your way to where you fought Volcanismon. Here you will find 2 chests. One of them has the Crit Enhancement II. This is one of the few places you can find this limited item in this base game, and if you want to craft the ever useful Sky God's Thunderbolt accessory, you'll need this one, so be sure to grab it and hold on to it for a bit as we won't be able to really craft this accessory just yet. Anyways, continuing on with the boss guide, you will later find yourself at the Shinjuku arena. Here, you would need to win a series of battles that will lead to you fighting against GrapLeomon. As GrapLeomon is a vaccine type, I thought it better to put GrapLeomon on reserve and pull out Rosemon Burst mode, equipping her with Thorn Strike 3. This is because GrapLeomon, apart from being weak against data types, is also weak to plant and earth elemental types. With everyone equipped with those elements, I ended up using them against him, with Aegiomon evolving from his holy form to his green one. Throughout this battle, the only attacks GrapLeomon managed to do were a Nanomachine Break 3 and 2 King of Fists, which is the most powerful skill he can use. After this gauntlet and moving on to the next chapter, Chapter 33, The Paradise Colosseum, we will once again have to win 5 rounds of arena battles, but this time, we also have GrapLeomon with us as a guest member. Now, the 4th fight will be up against Lopmon and Tyramon, which sounds funny given the circumstance, considering that they are a pair of rookie vaccine and data type Digimon who are both weak to plant. But this battle is quickly followed up by the main boss of this chapter, Callismon. As such, our preparations would be more for that battle than it is for this one. Just be careful, since these brothers can easily defeat your team if you're not careful, as they like using their special attacks. Now, for the final round against Callismon, we're going in with our tried and tested core team, GrapLeomon, Susanamon, and Mastamon. We'll equip Mastamon and GrapLeomon with Hydro Water 3 and Susanamon with Woken Palm 3. The reason being, Callismon's main body is weak to fire and null, but he does have a charging phase where we would be able to target his gun. This gun is weak to water and electricity. For this battle, what we will do is have GrapLeomon use Eclipse Finger, Susanamon use Woken Palm 3, and Mastamon use Chaos Degradation. The moment he does begin charging his special attack and his gun appears, we'll have GrapLeomon and Mastamon use Hydro Water on that while Susanamon switches to Yakuza no Ikazuchi. As for Callismon's attacks, he can use Crush Blade 3, a single target steel attack, Soul Fear 3, a dark base AoE attack, and his normal attack. I wasn't really able to get him to use much of his kit since I always easily managed to down him early. One thing you should be wary though is prolonging the battle, as doing so will make him stronger since, as the game puts it, he gets stronger the more he gets hurt. Sort of like the Hulk. And there you guys have it, the first set of boss battles for the second act of Digimon story Time Stranger. Next up, we'll be tackling the remaining 7 for this act, from Venom Yotismon leading all the way to Junamon Hysteric Mode. I hope this video proves useful and I hope you'll join me again next time. If you haven't yet, be sure to check out our previous Mega Plus boss guides. The first part is about the preparation for the New Game Plus Mega Plus run. The second part is the Prologue section boss battles. And the third part is the one with the Act 1 boss battles. Thank you as well to all of you wonderful people who had subscribed to my channel during the month of December last year. If you have subscribed but your name isn't listed here right now, that's because YouTube really doesn't show us those who have private profile subscribing, so I'm sorry for that. Still, know that I am always thankful for your support and I really am very grateful for it. And also, thank you to everyone who followed me on my Ko-fi page. You guys are awesome and I hope you found the stuff there as useful as the ones that are in here in my channel. Until the next video, I am Bianca and you guys know the drill. Digimon, fly on. Bye bye for now. Thanks for watching, keep safe always, and I'll see you all soon.